have you ever considered getting a guide dog? And actually I did for a brief amount of time. I traveled up to Leader Dogs for the Blind in Michigan, and I took a week-long orientation and mobility class. And at the end of that training, I got to practice with their fake guide dog, Juno, and that went so well that they let me practice with an actual live yellow lab named Lucy, who was getting ready to graduate. And I was impressed. Oh my goodness. Not only was she adorably cute and fun and the sweetest little angel ever, she was so incredibly helpful. She did for me basically everything my cane could do, plus some. Not only could she help me with sidewalk travel and help me identify curbs so I could pause to listen for traffic before I proceeded onto the next sidewalk, she was able to do things that my cane couldn't do, like find a door without me randomly smacking my cane around until I got to one. And she could even find a chair, an empty chair for me to sit in, which is always a problem when I run into a room and I'm like, okay, like a waiting room, where do I sit? Where do I go? And usually that just leads to this big awkward announcement of me saying like, hey, I'm blind. Where can I not sit on a person? And it just always makes me feel so weird. But that's the best I can do with my cane. But oh my goodness, to have a guide dog. And it was so tempting. It was so tempting because she was so precious. But I just had to think it through, because not only are these guide dogs beautiful blessings when they come into your home, they come in with a lot of responsibility. So you're going to have your standard care just for a normal dog, like vet visits, grooming, making sure that they're walked frequently and played with and loved on. And that's a lot just on a person in general, but also you have to maintain the training. So when I asked Leader Dogs for the Blind at the time how much money went into graduating a guide dog, it was $70,000. That is a lot of money. That is a lot of time. That is a lot of care and a lot of resources that has gone into this dog, making sure it is at the top of its training so it can serve you as a blind person. And so I knew that if I applied for a guide dog and was granted one and took that guide dog home, I had to use it. It was not okay to just have it for a few months, think it was cute, and then get out of the habit of taking the dog on a walk every day, playing with the dog, and making sure that I maintain the training commands. And here's the thing. Not only do you have to maintain the training, you have to maintain the loyalty bond. So it wouldn't have been okay if I said, hey, Austin, I'm so tired today. Can you just feed the dog today? Can you just bathe the dog? Can you just take the dog on the walk? Can you just make her practice outside with the curb identification and give her treats? Because then all of a sudden the guide dog's loyalty would switch and it would now be Austin's dog. And when I need a command fulfilled, it would be kind of iffy if she would do it or not. Because why does she need to do commands for me to get treats if she just knows that Austin's going to give her treats later? And then that would even further complicate. I knew me and Austin wanted to have children eventually at that time. And we ended up having 2 kids. And that would be really hard for me to keep this barrier of loyalty between the dog and my children, because when you're a kid and you see a dog, you just want to love on it. You're not thinking about all the implications of the training that must be maintained for that guide dog to be excellent at service. And that was just a lot that I was worried I couldn't live up to. So I decided that I was just going to keep my cane, and that was going to be how I handled my transportation, especially since I didn't have a day job that I needed to get transported to, that I needed to walk to. It didn't make sense for me to get a guide dog when I was only going to class 2 days a week, and I had structured my schedule that way in college. So the other days I was just at home. I wouldn't actually be using the guide dog. So it just didn't make sense for that amount of resources to go into me, a blind person who wouldn't really use it to its max capacity. So I decided to leave the guide dog for another blind person who would actually use it.